Today we're going to make a mini album using these pockets that I found at Michael's. They are they have the string closure, and inside it's just an envelope basically. They came in a pack of 12. I don't want to blind anybody here, but they came in a pack of 12, and the brand name is DIY Shop. It's American Crafts, actually. I'm seeing it on the back there. Sorry if I blinded anybody. It's a pack of 12. They are 4 1/4 by 5 3/4 inch security envelopes, they're called. I did find them on clearance, or half off, I mean, wherever it was that I bought them. It was either AC Moore or Michael's, I can't remember. But, you know, I don't know what they actually were either way, so it's kind of irrelevant. Unless one has a sticker, which it doesn't, so I can't give you a price. But they were half off, so I bought 3 packs of them to play with. I do have measurements so that I took one apart so that I can give measurements to those that can't get a hold of them, so you can make your own little envelopes like these. Of course, you know, in this case here, I would rather just buy something like this than make it, because it's just one more step that I don't really want to make. Okay, so I pre-cut everything. For some reason my camera keeps adjusting the lighting, like if I move the cutter in and then the scoreboard in. It's just weird. That's why the black paper is sitting on the bottom here, just to prevent it from doing it too much. It looks like it's still doing it either way. I did pre-cut all of the pockets, like I said. So there's the big pockets. They're the whole length of the page, so things can go in sideways. There's little pockets that go on the back, so things can go in here. And then this set is a flap, so just a flap that's going to hang off of the pocket. I will give you the measurements as I put them on here. These are going to go onto an accordion binding. I'm not sure who's at all familiar with that type of binding. It looks like this. I will post how to make this next. You can also look up Kathy Orta's Hidden Hinge, maybe, binding? I'm not sure what she calls it. I call it an accordion binding. You know, people have been using this type of a binding forever and a day. Basically, the big pocket goes on the back of here, leaving an opening on the bottom that slides onto this accordion binding, and then we'll have 6 pages that'll be back to back. So if this page is facing out that way toward the front, this one's going to be facing toward the back. So they'll be back to back like that. And then the next one, they'll be front to front. And then so on and so forth. So back to back, front to front, and back to back. So that's how that's going to be. And then this will all go into the book, and there will be tags that stick out of this way, and tags that stick out of the top, out of the little pocket. And when you open to this set of pages, there will be a flap. Okay? So let's get started. I'm going to set this aside for now. Before I get started, I suppose I should probably show you how to make the envelope for yourself in case you don't have access to them. I already pre-scored and cut all of that as well. Now this is how your envelope starts out if you were to buy it. Hold on, let's turn this up. So it looks like this. This opens up to this. Turn it over so it doesn't mess up the lighting too much here. You have a flap that folds in and a flap that folds in, front flap, back flap. It's all one piece of paper that measures 9 inches by 8.5 inches. So it's 8.5 inches tall by 9 inches wide. From there, you score it on this side here at hold on here. It's this way. Holy mackerel, I apologize already. Hit 4 3/8, and then the next score would be here at 8 5/8. So the score here would be 4 3/8. I'm reading this upside down in case you're wondering why I'm stuttering. So 4 3/8, and then the next score is at 8 5/8. Then from there, you turn it 1 turn clockwise, and you'll score here at 1 3/4, and then here at 7 1/2. Hope that made sense. So when you're on your scoreboard, you'll start this way. You'll score it here at 4 3/8, and then you'll score it here at 8 5/8, and then you'll turn it 1 turn counterclockwise, or clockwise, not counterclockwise, and you'll score it here at 1 3/4, and then you'll score it here, which will be 7 1/2. Okay? From there, you will cut off, and I did it here, you will cut off this chunk here, this bottom chunk, which is this chunk, this top corner here, and this bottom corner here, which are here and here. So your cuts will be, and you always cut a little bit diagonally just to take down the bulk. Hold on, I didn't do that very well. To take down the bulk when you fold everything up. You don't want it all bunched up on itself. Alright, so I don't know if you can see the X I made on there with the permanent marker, right there by my thumb. Cut that off. And then you cut this one off. I don't know, again, if you can see that X, but that's where it is. You can use a X-Acto and a ruler to do this, and you know, whatever way works for you. I like just using scissors and winging it. I'm a wing it kind of girl. So that, you can see it forming already. Then this corner, and this corner. Now you can kind of see, if you can compare it to that, very similar. The score here, and a score here, a score here, and a score here. Okay, so you fold this one in, the little short one on the side. Should be a 1/2 inch fold, or a 1/2 inch score mark anyway. Then you fold this one up, and then this long flap in. And apparently I didn't measure properly. Try and measure properly. I have an extra little bit of a measurement there, extra 1/4 of an inch, almost 3/8 of an inch. At any rate, you fold it all like that, you put glue here, and you fold the whole thing down, and then there's your flap. So, if you cut it straight, let me go off camera and cut this off here, make it look right. Nothing to see here. Okay, so you glue on the skinny tab, on this bottom tab, and it's closed. Now to do this here, that is a 3/4 inch circle, which you can just punch with like one of these type of punches. That's a 3/4 inch circle. You can buy them. 3/4 inch circle, not 3/4. There's no such thing. The inner part where the eyelet is 1/4 inch, so it's a 1/4 inch eyelet. You can also use a 1/4 inch brad. That works too. For the brad, you just punch a hole with, you know, a sticky pokey tool type of thing like this. You just poke it through, stick your brad in, spread the legs out. You're going to have to cover that on both pieces. The inside, this piece here, just put a piece of clear tape over the back of it. If you use the eyelets, just do them the way you've always done them. You punch a hole, you put the eyelet in, you use the big bite and smush it together so that the inside's rolled up like it's supposed to be. I've done both. I probably myself would do a brad because I usually have those handy and I can almost never find my eyelets easily. I am trying to get organized though, so we shall see. Alright, so then this is very thin twine type item on here. I would use baker's twine, which is thicker, and this is a foot long piece of it between this and what they have pinned inside the eyelet right here. I don't know if you can see that very well, but that's it. So there, that would be your envelope, and that would be 9 by 8.5, scored at 4 3/8, 8 5/8, 1 3/4, and 7.5. So those are your scores around. You cut off the corners, fold up, glue, slap that down, put those on, put that on. You need to either put this on, this middle one here, on ahead of time before you seal it shut, or you need to use like a big bite or big chomp or whatever the heck that thing's called and put that on afterwards. Whatever's easier. Again, that's my running philosophy, is whatever's easier for you to do across the board. Alright, so we'll put this away and we'll get down to business. Alright, move that. Get rid of all this garbage. Okay. So here's page 1. I probably should write on them which ones are which so I can keep track here, but for now this will have to do. Alright, so there's the back of page 1, the front of page 1. On the back of the page, we are going to put, on the back of every single page, we're going to put one big pocket, which has a score here and a score here. The size of this piece is 6 5/8 by 4. You're going to score at a 1/4 inch here and a 1/4 inch here. So 6 5/8 folds down to 5 5/8. And that will fit from top to bottom and will give you not quite a 1/4 of an inch from the top of the pocket. Now when you put this piece on, always remember what way the pocket's going onto the hinge, because you want that part closest to the edge. This one here is going to go on this side, so then I would put this edge of the pocket flush with this edge of the envelope. So I'm going to put some tape on there and I will put it on, attach it. You can use score tape or miracle tape or whatever you've got. I've got both. I don't have any score tape actually. I have miracle tape and generic sticky tape. We just call it sticky tape. It's easier that way. I don't think it has a real name. That you just put on here, not on the hinge, or not on the score line, but just below it. And then you flip around, do it again, and because I don't have the proper, oh my good lord, the proper 1/2 inch size, I have to put the 1/8 inch on as well. So I just do that to cover the whole little flappy thing. Like that. And like that. And you take your scissors and you angle your edges. Sorry about that. It's my phone telling me to take pills of some sort or another. Alright. Get rid of those. And now, because I am trying to make sure this is center, I left a smidgen on either end, like 1/8 of an inch on either end, because the texture of the envelope ends like 1/8 of an inch from the end of the envelope. I don't know why. So I'm going to need to just make sure that I center it from either end. Hope that made some sort of sense. I apologize. Alright. We're making sure it's upright, which it is. This will be the top, the bottom, the hinge side. So this needs to be centered against the hinge side, okay? Now I'm going to turn it this way so that the hinge side is facing me. And then you line up your edges and stick it down. Easy as that. That's it. You end up with a hole that goes from top to bottom. Easy peasy. And a little bit of a lip here, which makes things easier to get in and out of the pocket. So that's part one of the pocket. I'm going to do 2 pockets, and then we're going to cut to the making of the binding. And then when I come back, I'll have all the pockets done, and we can put that part together. Alright, so page 1. Page 1 has the option of either a flap or another pocket. So you'll have a pocket here and a pocket facing upright, facing this way. I think for the first one I'm going to do the flap, which means the second one will have the pocket. So the one on this side will have a pocket, the one on this side will have a flap. Here's the flap. This is cut at 5.5 by 4 1/4, and it's scored at 1/2 inch on the long side. So the flap is going to hang this way. Okay? So then we'll put tape on this. And again, no 1/2 inch, so I'm just using the 1/8 inch and the 3/8 inch, because why not? I seem to have a lot of this 3/8 or 1/8 inch and a bunch of this 3/8 inch. I don't know where it came from. Again, notch the edges of the flap, or not notch them, but angle the edges of the flap so that they don't get in the way of anything. Now the flap is going to be attached. You can do it whichever way you want to do it. I think for strength's sake, you know, so that it is very sturdy, you should attach it to the inside of the edge of the pocket, like there, and then just fold it over. The reason I think that is a better idea is because if you attach it out here and fold it over, you have potential of tearing the pocket due to the weight all being on the edge. I could be wrong on that. I mean, I am by no means a rocket scientist. So, whatever you want to do. If you put it on the inside like this, you know, if you tape it onto the pocket, which would actually be like that anyway, you could cover that up with whatever you mat the pocket with. And you don't run the risk of things catching when you pull them in and out of the pocket. Now, I don't know how much stuff you plan on having on your little tags that you're pulling in and out of the pocket, but that is a potential problem. I think I'm going to attach this one on the outside and the next one on the inside and see which way I like it better in the grand scheme of things. See which one's sturdier. Give them a little tug and see how sturdy they actually are, because, like I said, I could be entirely wrong and this could have no ill effects on here. So, just fold that. Oh, puppy's having a coronary down there. He doesn't like to be left alone for very long. Okay, so, I don't know if you can see how that looks, but you have now got 2 lips, which is kind of a little weird looking. I don't think I like that, so next time around I will not be doing that, I don't think. Alright, it does prevent you from having things in there, but when you pull up on the pocket, the corner actually tugs on the flap. So you're probably best to actually tuck it inside. I wonder if I can get this off of here. Nope. No, I cannot. I have undo, but I'm not going to use that. For my purposes, I am going to round the corners on the flap, just because it makes it look cleaner. You don't have to do that unless you want to. That's just that. It's nothing big. Okay? So there's one page, ready to go, and ready to be put onto the hinge. Word didn't want to come to me. Alright, so I'm going to set the flaps aside. I'm going to set the rest of the big pockets aside and all but one of the bottom little pockets, just to get all the stuff out of my way. Alright, so here's page 2. Page 2 is going to have the long pocket and the little pocket. Okay, so I'm going to actually put the tape on both of these while I'm at it and save one step. For anybody who's thinking about getting a puppy, think twice. It's like having a child. He's just a baby, but he is a terror. He's a husky chow mix. He's already in the 20-pound range, and he's only just not quite 4 months old, something to that effect. He's gonna be a big boy. He's probably unhappy because he's been home alone all day, and then I had to come and do this. Don't worry, I did feed and walk him before I started this. I am not neglecting my puppy. Just a loud one. One more little strip, and we're good to go. Alright, so if this pocket goes this way, then this pocket goes this way, which means this is the back side of the pocket. So we have to keep that in mind when we put this long pocket on here. Angle your edges. Just from the point of where the score starts, and angle it down just a little bit to the edge, just to make it fit better, that's all. I think I said that already, but I like to repeat myself. Fold that up, fold that up, pull that off, that off. Now, if this is the top of the page, and it goes like this, that would be your binding edge. So put that facing you, and gently line this up from top to bottom. Again, I left a little bit of space so that I could make sure I was taping just on the textured part of the pocket. Alright. Push it down, make sure it's nice and even. Again, making sure what side this is the top of the pocket. Put the top of the pocket up on this piece. I didn't tell you the measurements on this piece. This piece is cut to 2.5 by 5 inches. You're going to score it a 1/2 inch on 3 sides, which would be 2 short sides and 1 long side. So it would be a 1/2 inch, a 1/2 inch, and a 1/2 inch. It doesn't matter which way you score as long as 2 short sides and 1 long side are scored. From there, you're going to angle the top. I'm going to have to go deal with the puppy in a minute. Alright. Then you're going to just cut right across the crisscross part of the score line. And then you fold those under. Fold it under. This one you got to be pretty consistent size-wise because it goes right up to the edge of this pocket, which means if it's not exactly the right measurements, it's going to hang off and end up sticking the big pocket shut, because it'll stick to the back of the envelope. It may seem like common sense to some people, but it has to be said. Alright, so I always, with the 3-sided pockets, I always do the bottom first and then stick the sides on after. So you're going to line that up with the bottom of the pocket that's already there. Nicely. Like that. And you're going to take the tape off of it, backing off of both sides. It's going crazy. Jeebus. Alright, you're going to line up this side with the edge of the pocket, and this side with the back edge of the pocket. Just like that. And your pocket is here and here. And this pocket is the hinge side. And the same thing here. You have your flap facing in and your hinge. They go on your hinge like that, so they go back to back. I am going to go walk the puppy again, and I'm going to finish the rest of the pages. You'll see how to make the hinge next, and then we will come back and I will show you how to put these onto the hinge. Okay, see you in a bit.